Let me talk at ya. Welcome one and all, Not Just A Guy, the show about, by, and for struggling storytellers. I'm your host, Not Just A Guy, the guy, Garrett Briones. Welcome back to the podcast. This podcast is all about talking about what goes into being a storyteller, the struggles, the triumphs, the trials, the tribulations, all that fun stuff. I'm coming at you on a lovely day. I'm not gonna tell you when I record this episode. All you need to know is that it came out on this day. I think I found a good rhythm with the show, doing it bi-weekly, kind of supplementing what would be a weekly podcast with our newsletter, the Bachelor Class newsletter, which is linked down in the description, where I basically, it kind of sometimes it relates to what's going on in Not Just A Guy, kind of similar topics, but I think with the newsletter, I'm able to go even more in depth, and I'm able to, a lot of stuff I do here is off the cuff. I don't make notes. I just kind of come in with an idea of what I'm going to talk about, but I'm not beholden to it. But with newsletter, I can really just kind of dive in. I can really just explore ideas. And our most recent episode, I talked about just telling the story, or not episode, post. I talked about just telling the story. And by that, I've talked a lot on this podcast about how I just want to make movies. That's all I want to do. That's all I dream about and think about. That's what I want to do. And I want to do it with my friends and the other people that are in this bachelor class, which I call the bachelor class is those of us that, we do have the knowledge. We are trained. We did get degrees in this thing, but those degrees aren't going to get us the opportunities. We're going to get the opportunities. And bachelor class is it's by creators. It is just it's beyond the classroom. It is about trying to just get our stuff made and made by us, not made by committee, made by creators and by creatives, and just unabashedly 100% the vision that we want to do. And right now that's kind of easy, especially since like the main thing on, right now all I'm making on Bachelor Class is unscripted stuff at the moment, at least is what's getting out there. Obviously the newsletter and the podcast, those are two things that are unscripted. I wouldn't really consider the newsletter, I'm not going to use the C word. I'm not going to call it content, but it is a look at myself and other people that I want to work with and other people that I respect and things that we do have going on. But the podcast obviously is our main thing that we're making, and it is unscripted, but we don't have, we can talk about whatever on this show. We can really dive in, and I really think that it's worthwhile. So checking that out on Substack. If you want to, subscribe, if you want to do that, I don't have anything paid on there. I don't really know if maybe one day, I don't really know I could possibly see like short stories maybe going up on like a paid thing maybe, but even that's not even something I'm thinking about or considering. That's literally just kind of what I thought of right now off the cuff. But just we like to shout out people, like there's a little section called networking where I like to shout out other creators that I know and things like that. Our first post, I shouted out good friend of the show, Steven Cruz, who does the music. He did the music in our episode. He does the Not Just A Guy theme. He did the music for our Daredevil video for Geekscape, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And he did, he's currently working with his band from years ago. They have some new members. They're making some new music. They're trying to get an album together or an EP. I can't remember. They're working on some singles, stuff like that. The Naked Mirrors band. I've been hearing some of the stuff that they're working on through their social media, and it sounds really, really cool. So I definitely tell you should go check them out. And then last week I gave a shout out to Campbell Russell Troutman. Campbell's been on the show before. Some of my favorite episodes have featured him. And I spoke about how he is, as we're working on Crusades of the Nexus, he is our secret weapon. He is so versatile. He has taken on such a large workload and has done other stuff to the point that he's now a producer on Crusades of the Nexus, much to the chagrin of his friend and roommate Chris Hall, who has also been on the show. That was also one of my favorite episodes, having both Chris and Campbell on. Yeah, so I like that. I like to kind of shout out that. I never tell the people that I'm shouting them out. I mean, if they were to listen to this now, they would know that I shouted them out, but I never tell people just because it's not about me trying to be like, yeah, I shouted you out, man. Like, isn't that cool? It's not about that. But I'm even hoping that maybe, speaking about them on this very show, maybe that gets you to go check out their work, because I think that they're both great. And another thing is, I don't know who I'm going to shout out on the next one, so I will figure that out when I get to it, but it's something I love doing. I want more of their work to get seen, and yeah, and I mentioned it last episode, but I really am enjoying, and now having 2 posts under my belt. I really am enjoying the Substack. It is just a fun place. It's I've never had a blog. Maybe the closest I've ever had is like Facebook and Twitter, where you can kind of give your instant thoughts and reactions to stuff. As far as like more text-based, especially like something like Twitter was, that's been fun and very stream of consciousness. I do have a thing where I don't always like to read back my work, so some little typos have gotten out there because I don't always immediately like to go back and read it, but I'm only human. What can I say? But I'm also, and as I mentioned a second ago, our Daredevil video is fully out there at this point. When you're listening to this episode, it's been out. It's been out a couple weeks now. Because it came out the Monday before Born Again came out. So it's been out. It's doing good numbers. It's not like some of the highest stuff. It and the original Daredevil video that we did, they were linked together, and so they've been doing really good numbers. Even better than they like the previous Daredevil video. It's been getting a lot of views that it didn't get previously. And I spoke about how that really affected me. That's even a plot point in the cold open of our Before Born Again video. That really did hit me. And not to dive too under the hood of that cold open, but just this idea of like giving up because of fear. And it's never been giving up because of fear of the work. Like I don't fear the work. I've always, not to toot my own horn, but I am a hard worker, and I've never been scared of doing work. That's just something that you got to do. And I come from a home of hard workers. And so I just, that's never been what's made me fear. But as I was making that video and thinking about like, well, why did you stop making these videos? I had so many, I had some scripts written. I think I had even started doing VO for I think I had a Captain America video that I was going to do right after our original Daredevil video. I definitely had the script, but I don't think I might have gotten to the VO stage, but I just gave up and I moved on because I just seeing the video having under 100 views for weeks, and then those weeks turned into months. I gave up, and I think it was just kind of the fear or like the lack of a reward and having to learn that I don't need that. My good friend Jonathan London, one of my first classes I had at CCH. If you're a video listener, I'm wearing a CCH, or if you're a video listener, you can see I'm wearing a Columbia College Hollywood, a school that doesn't exist anymore shirt. If you're an audio person, I just explained that to you. I went to CCH in 2018, in the first class I had with London. I had met him at an open house previous, but I really had this class, and something that the 2 pieces of advice is, there's 2 things that he said in that class that have always stuck with me. It's 1, take your time, slow down. I remember the first thing I ever filmed in that class, I was just having them rush through the dialogue, and then I edited it myself, and there was like no breathing room. Like it was just like line cut, line cut, line cut, line cut, over. And it was just, there was no moment, there was no way for anything to sit. And that's what I tell people. That's probably the direction I gave the most at CCH, and it's even something I still give today on the audio drama. I tell people to sit in the moments. That's the, like, even if it's like a minute, like even if it's just a page it's a page and there's only a few lines of dialogue, I tell them, sit in those moments. I don't need you to hit these super quick. If it's a slower paced scene, if it isn't like we're throwing ballies back at each other, if it is we are sitting and ruminating, I tell people, sit in those moments. I'm not going to tell you the moments. You choose the moments, but sit in them. Do not be afraid to have some dead air. Do not be afraid to just take your time getting it, even if it means like you take a big chunk of text I give you, which I try not to. I try to break those up. But even if you have to take the moments in there, find those moments and sit in them. Because I did not let my actors sit in them on that day, and I definitely in the edit did not sit in those moments. That's a big one, but what I'm trying to get to is the big thing that he told me was, he said it differently. I have tweaked it to my own thing. It's something I write in notebook. Like I have a notebook where I wrote this at the front, and I try to, if I have a notebook where I can write, it's not a piece of paper, but I can still write on the inner lining of the actual cover. I write, don't chase the accolades. He said it as don't chase the Oscar, but I say it as don't chase the accolades. That's what I've sort of made my own. And I think I kind of lost, or I think I started to really adopt that after that first Daredevil video, because I thought, oh man, we did such great work. Jack killed it on the editing. Emily and I made this fun little one take opener, which was very simple, but we nailed the coloring. We makeshift a Daredevil suit real quick. Oh, it was so good. We're just gonna be rolling in views. And then we didn't. And I think that was a very big reminder to myself of I did make it to find an audience. Sorry, video viewers. I just realized that I didn't have the camera stopped going for some reason. That was really weird. It was going and then it just wasn't going. So hi, now you can see my face. Hey, here's that shirt I was talking about, video viewers. Here's that shirt. Columbia College Hollywood. You gotta love technology. Yeah. Anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted by the fact that my camera wasn't rolling. Great. I'm so flabbergasted. But no, I think with that video not doing well at the time, just kind of, I wouldn't even say not doing well. Just not getting the views and attention I thought it deserved, given the work that we put into it. I was really bummed, and I think I forgot that I'm not doing this for the accolades. I'm doing this because it's fun and because it's creative, and I'm talking about things I love in that case. And then I think with everything I do, I'm never seeking, trophies. I'm never seeking, I never played sports, and that was never a big thing. I was never worried about championships. I played sports, but I did it. I played baseball in kindergarten, and I played basketball in like 4th grade, and neither one of them appealed to me because I was just like I didn't care. Like there was no real investment for me. I never truly understood what I was playing for because I never had any aspirations of doing anything in athletics. So I was like, well, what am I like? Well, we get like medals or we get like trophies. We get participation trophies. I still have my baseball one somewhere. Actually, I wonder where that thing is now I think about it. But I never chased those. And then like even across from where I'm looking right now, I can see a trophy I have from choir, and then like an honors thing. Well, that one's from college. I did get some like medals and stuff in high school, but like even those, like I didn't seek those out. I didn't even know the one I got for choir. I didn't even know was a possibility. It just kind of happened. So yeah, I never really. I've never. It's interesting that I went through, I guess, like I had that brief moment of like, well, I thought this was going to get me so much attention. I thought this was going to maybe be a source of revenue if these videos took off, thing like that. And I forgot that in the past, I never cared about that. I was told, hey, that's really not something you should prioritize. And then now I'm just at a place where I just don't care. I just do these things for fun. Even, I'm happy those Daredevil videos are getting views, but I'm just more happy that like, I set out to make a fun video about Daredevil, and then we decided to make a fun cold open that I think we did a good job of capturing the spirit of like, telling a story with, there's voiceover, but there's no, I don't say any dialogue. There's just, I read, there is dialogue, obviously there's voiceover, but, there's not like people talking back and forth. Steven made amazing music. I love the way Emily cut it, and she had so many great ideas when we were shooting on the day. And actually, something, what I can kind of take from that cold open, like if I was to say anything, I've heard other directors do this, like, big time directors. And I guess it would just come down to if I had a DP that I really trust, and that trusts me and kind of instill that trust into the crew. But like, I kind of want to be one of these directors that doesn't really make a shot list. I don't really like shot lists because I go in knowing what I want. Like on that thing, I knew exactly the shots I wanted, and we got every single shot that I wanted. And then Emily suggested a few shots, and I was like, those are great. She had the idea of what if the camera's in the trunk when you open it? What if you pick up the camera a couple times and that is what you're pulling out of the trunk? We didn't end up using those shots, but we still loved they were great ideas. And, I knew I wanted the over the shoulders. I knew I wanted a reverse shot of me looking at the trunk and then the trunk looking up at me, essentially, as if the trunk could see. And then we had the idea she had the idea of the helmet, putting the helmet down and then pushing in on me. So many great ideas that just came on the day. We just kind of looked at what we had, what we wanted to do, and we just did it. There was no shot list, no nothing. And I know you could say like, oh, well, that's just a silly little video, like intro to a video that you're making. No, we didn't approach it like we approached it like we were making a short film. Like that's exactly how we approached it. Even the opening shot, which is, one take of me going down the hall and then before we cut, was also we were purposefully calling back to our original Daredevil video. And then Emily was able to do this amazing intersplicing of shots from that original video and the one we just made. And it was great. That was something she found in the edit, and that was great. And I thought she did a great job with that. I keep saying great, Caesar's Ghost. That's a Superman reference for you. That's what Perry White likes to say. Yeah, it's been so rejuvenating and refreshing to remember that I'm not in this to chase the accolades, that I'm in this for the art, for the creativity, for the fun. This stuff should be fun. It shouldn't be boardrooms and SEO. It should just be fun. It should be about the art, should not be about, well, how much money can we make back? Look, money's fun. I like money. Money's cool. You can quote me on that. I like money. Garrett Briones. Quote me that. I like money. It's nice. Keeps me alive. Keeps a roof over my head. Helps me support my soon-to-be wife and my furry son. This is about the fun. It's art. It's play. It's a make-believe. It's imagination unchained. And that's what it should always go back to being. And then that kind of leads me into what I want to talk at you about today, which is it's okay. And I'm talking to all my creatives out there, all of us that are struggling, all of us that are grinding, all of us that are trying to find time, finding our creative buoys, finding our moments to do any kind of work. This goes out to you. And it's something I have had to learn extremely hard. And it's still something I struggle with. It is okay to take a break. Doing nothing is okay. That is okay. Let's unpack this. I have struggled with anxiety my whole life. But especially in the last 6 months or so. It has been, I would say in the first month of this 6-month period, it was debilitating. I couldn't do anything. I was anxious beyond belief. There are some days where it was affecting my appetite. It was just this idea of time, of feeling like I didn't have enough time, which I know is crazy to say at 26, but nothing's guaranteed in this world. And it was just this awful feeling of just, I don't know, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? Am I wasting my time here? Am I not doing enough? Am I doing too much? Am I in the wrong? What am I just felt like everything I was doing was wrong. And I just felt sick to my stomach. I just hated how I felt. Nothing was making sense. Nothing at all made sense to me. It was really bad. And I was even struggling to sit down on the couch and watch TV. It was that bad. Because my mind was just so, I credit Abbott Elementary was a really big help in that. I started watching Abbott Elementary, and that got my mind off things. It was very funny. I really enjoyed the characters. That's if you wanted to talk about a piece of art that helped me through a rough time, that was that. I still need to get back on that. I felt I need to keep continuing on watching. The second season's a little longer, so I was taking it took me a little. I burned through the first season. The second season's a little bit longer, so it's taking me a minute. But that being said, with that thought that I wasn't doing enough, I was like, well, I just got to do everything all the time. I got to just keep going. Bah, bah, bah. When I finish one script, got to jump right to the next one. Right, go, keep going. No, never stop. Never let yourself think. Never let yourself sit with this feeling. And that was almost just as bad. There was this notion that I was having, just well, you just got to keep going. Because it was if you're not doing anything, then you are wasting time. You are just wasting time on this planet. You are wasting time in your life that could be going towards something. And I'm still struggling with that. Even when I just sit around and just watch TV, my mind does that. It's well, why are you doing this when you could be doing something else? What are you really making the most of your time? That's still, I'm really struggling with. And it's just one of those things where it's your brain knows it shouldn't be thinking something, but it does it. You know what I'm talking about. We all do this, where it's just you absolutely know that something is not what your brain should be thinking, but that's why your brain wants to think it. It wants you to dwell on that and sit with that. And then I hate it. And it just nags at you and bugs you and just sits at the front, even though you're like, I'm not even thinking these thoughts. Why is this here? I'm literally thinking about something else, but I just have this like plexiglass over everything I'm doing, and it's just like really weird. The human brain is very weird. You can quote me on that too. There's just so much that that is hard to focus on. And that's why I've had to learn, or I guess relearn, and have others kind of reaffirm that it's okay to do nothing. It really is. There's so many times where I think like, well, I guess I should be writing. Like, look, I love writing. Do not get me wrong. I love writing. I love it. I love working on my audio drama. That is just an excuse for me to write just all the time and unabashedly and just freely. I don't know what that was. But I can't write all the time. Like, yeah, I kind of had this idea like, oh, I write and then I have to go right to the next thing. And then I finish this script, we're on to the next one. Finish this script, on to the next one. No breaks, no mental breaks, no like just letting myself, find inspiration, sit on ideas, think about, is that really what I want to do? Or is there a better way to get this, And then I finished, I've been open about it. I finished Crusades of the Nexus 2, Volume 2, Season 2. I call it Volume 2. Or I actually call it Crusades of the Nexus Part 2. That's what I call it. If you want to get technical. I finished that, and I was like, okay, this is, I feel good. Like, I felt really, I was happy with how, there's a 2-part script in there that was very daunting. Mostly because I had made it daunting in my head. I had been sitting with that script for, I haven't been sitting with that script for a while. Probably about 2-3 years. But by the time I started writing it, probably been about like 2 years. And I finally wrote it. It was an undertaking. Originally it was supposed to be 1 episode, and I thought, no. As I started fully mapping it out and planning, I was like, there is no way this is going to be 1 episode, because this thing is going to be a long one. And it was a long one. But I'm really proud of it. And actually I have, I have someone already I have, Campbell's already working on some stuff with that episode. There's some people that I'm just already, we're just going right on the next thing. And I have, I lost my train of thought. Where am I? I had the idea of like, okay, we're going to go right into the next thing. And I knew what the next thing was going to be, but then I took a little bit of a break, I was still working on stuff related to Crusades and things like that. So there was a little bit of a break. And then I went right into but then I took the time. I told myself it's okay to do nothing. So, but doing nothing isn't like wholly just like, I'm not going to work on things at all. It's just like, when I say do nothing, I just mean like, not every day has to have something creative related to it. And maybe, so, whereas I was like, every single day I have to do something creative. Let's say for this Crusades of the Nexus 2 script, I was like, every single day something creative must happen. Then I moved on to this other script. I've already talked about it. It's a spinoff from one of our characters, getting his own audio feature, and moved on to that. And then that one, I was even like, I used to have this really arbitrary thing. This is much more prevalent when I was doing Crusades 1. I had this thing where I was just like, you have to write 10 pages a day, or you are a failure. You must write 10 pages or else. And that's a 10-page minimum, brother. But I stopped doing that. I really did. And so then when I moved to this other script, it was much more like, let's do a scene a day. Let's just do that. And then when I got to this most recent script I was working on, the spinoff, I was like, let's do a couple pages. If you get to the middle of a scene and you don't feel like, I know exactly how I'm going to get out of the scene, put it down. Just, you're done for the day. Think about it. You might come up with something better and go back and rewrite the scene. So I was doing a lot of that. And so, but on that one, when it was coming to the planning stages, I took my time a little bit more. Even on days when I was like, I really don't know if I have the creative bug today, I was still kind of making myself like, well, at least jot down some ideas, do this, this, and this. And, it wasn't too bad. It was good. And I was really happy with how that script came to be and turned out. I'm kind of trying to get Crusades and that one out almost back to back, especially when we kind of look to get support for those. They're going to be kind of a dual thing because it's basically, volume 1 and then volume 1.5 in a lot of ways. And so I'm kind of working on that and seeing if it's feasible for me to get them out like that. But after I finished that script, which, like I said, the spinoff, I felt so good. I loved everything. That one, I was very much thinking about someone in my life, and just very much, I there's a lot of them in there, and you'll see or hear about that more when that comes out. That one was very close to home, and it was very much just up my alley of what the kind of stories I love and my sensibilities as a storyteller. And I finished that, and I felt so fulfilled. I felt so warm and just so, like I felt like I was filled up. And so I put that one down. I felt good. And then, so that was not last week, but I believe the week before. That when you're listening to this, it wasn't so when this episode comes out on this Monday, it wasn't last week, it was the week before. I finished that script and I felt so good. I was like, oh man, I got the writing bug. I could go right into my next script. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to. And that's something that in the past I would really struggle with, but I was like, I have 3 days off of work. I'm just going to do nothing. And so, and I mean, when I say did nothing, there was still creative stuff. I made some logos and some artwork connected to episodes. I wrote down, I made like a little quick outline of an episode that, like, my next writing project. I at least wanted to decide what my next writing project was going to be. But then I just did nothing. And let me tell you, that was exactly what I needed. And I've been so go, do this. But I didn't need it as much as I thought I did. And I need to tell stories. I need to be a storyteller. I need to be creative. But it was so what I needed to just take a week off. And yes, I wrote notes. I even just, like, right now, before I started writing this very episode, I wrote notes down for projects way down the line. And I did that, but, like, even then, I haven't written anything. And I made it, I have my next writing project. I haven't completely outlined. I might start writing it this week. I have to do some pickups on Crusades for my own stuff. Because as the creator and the person who runs the whole show, I can push my stuff off as long as I want. No, I just life stuff. I just felt like I had to kind of wait. But maybe I'll write it this week, and maybe I won't. One, there's not any, I'm so far ahead at the moment that I don't really need to worry about that. But I also just have to remember, it's okay to do nothing. There's no set way about how we're supposed to do anything in this world. Yeah, there's obviously certainly ideas and suggestions, but look, it's really hard right now. I'm not even talking about just about in my given field of trying to be a filmmaker. It's just really hard in the world right now. There's just a lot of hate and a lot of just needless stoking of that hate, and just causing such causing people to feel bad about themselves and just all these just these guys who are supposed to be leaders, and these guys who think that they're leaders just because they have mounds and mounds of cash, just kind of trying to radicalize and just make things worse and make things bad and things that don't need to be, and take things away from people that need them. And it just boggles my mind that we just live like this, that there are just people like this that want to so ruthlessly inflict the way that they want the world to be, the way they want this country to be on the people that they're supposed to protect. And it boggles my mind, and it just makes me think like there's no, we have to protect ourselves because obviously people in power don't really care about protecting us. That we just have to live in our own way, but also not live like them, and realize that, we have to respect others. We have to work together. We have to make this world better for the coming generations. But also, there's no way to live life. It is one of life's great mysteries that it is a mystery. And we just have to find what works for us, what helps us keep our sanity. When I was going through that patch, it was I couldn't do anything. And so I kind of had to embrace the nothing. Even though the very idea that I was doing quote unquote nothing was horrifying, that was ultimately letting myself just shut off and then find the resources I needed to get better. That helped. And now as a creator, it's like I don't want to get like creative anxiety where I think like, oh my gosh, I have to have my next episode outline. No. I'm going to do nothing today. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to read something. I'm just going to do whatever I want. Even if I'm just going to lay on the couch for a little bit and just kind of literally do nothing. Just, not even take a nap, but just let everything just disconnect from the technology. Just take a breather. Just let myself be. And that's something that's taken a lot of getting used to. And it's still something I'm struggling with, but I'm working on it. But, the show is all about it's okay to struggle. It's not needed, but sometimes that struggle, it means that we kind of care if we're going through it. If we're pushing through that struggle, it shows we care about whatever it is we're trying to get to the other end of. Yeah, you don't always have to just be go, go, go. You need those. I mean, and some people, look, there are some people that works for, that are always wanting to be go, go, go. And more power to them. And there have been instances in my life where I have been go, go, go. But right now I am sort of relearning that it's okay to just be. You don't have to be doing something. Sometimes it is okay to be just there and just letting yourself be. And I constantly have to remind myself, and I hope that something I've said reminds you that it is okay to do nothing. And do nothing in the sense of, I mean, we all should be doing something. I mean, doing something in the sense of just trying to make this world a better place. Leave it better than it was when we got here. But, do something. If you need to do something that helps others. But when I say doing nothing is okay, or maybe not doing nothing is okay, but like it is okay to not be working every second. It is okay to rest. It is okay to let your mind breathe. You don't need to suffer for your art. You do not need to suffer for your creativity. You can just be. It is okay to not relentlessly work. It is okay to not relentlessly beat on yourself and be mean to yourself and make yourself think that because you're not working 24/7 that you're not doing enough, because you are doing enough. And I think that's where I'm going to end this episode of Not Just a Guy. We went through a lot. We talked about a lot. I kind of like that these episodes aren't super long. I try to make sure that they're a certain length, but I like that they're kind of like a little quick thing that you can listen to on a car ride or a session at the gym, thing like that, sub an hour. Guest episodes go a little bit longer, but I haven't had one in a while. But that's going to do it for Not Just a Guy. Check out the Bachelor Class newsletter on Substack. That is linked in the description below. The social media that matter down below. Pretty much just like, I think I just have Instagram and TikTok mostly for Not Just a Guy stuff. I probably should start uploading more clips. I just haven't done so recently. But I have the Bachelor Class stuff all linked. Everything. Any link where you're going to find me most likely posting something related to this show or other Bachelor class related stuff. It's going to be down in the description. That's stuff that's the easiest. If you go to the Bachelor class one, you can still get a link to our Daredevil video. Please keep watching, or watch it if you haven't watched it. Like it, leave a comment. That would really help. Just want to keep doing that. If people want me to do more, I'll do more. At the moment, I have ideas of stuff I would possibly do. Honestly, they're all like Daredevil related. There's a Superman one. The Superman one I most likely will do because that character means a lot to me. Yeah, at the moment, it's like, it's not back to how I felt where it's like, well, I wanted to get thousands of bajillions of views and likes and stuff like that and make me money. That's not even why I set out to do this most recent one. I just really wanted to talk about Daredevil again, and I had the idea of that cold open, so I wanted to do that. But yeah, if you would like to see me do more, let them know, and I'm sure I could. Like I said, I have a Superman one I'm probably gonna pitch, but that wouldn't be coming out till July, so we're thinking about that. But I'm really focused on the audio drama right now, the audio feature, the audio series. Really, trying to get all recordings done, trying to get it all figured out, and I just want it to be out in the world. I want both of them to be out in the world, hopefully this year. I want those stories out there because I think we could find an audience. I think that there's people that would respond to it. But we guys got to get in out there, and hopefully soon I can figure out ways that people can help us get things out there. Because we're gonna need a lot of sounds, because that's the thing about an audio drama or any kind of audio series is we have to do everything to paint that picture for you. So we are trying to do so, and I hope that you'll be listening once we do. Yeah, we are here at the end. So yeah, all that good stuff, you can find that down in the description. And I will be back here in 2 weeks talking whatever I'm talking about. And also next week there will be a new Bachelor class newsletter. So again, you can find that description below. Substack, that is going down. On YouTube, it more so just it's hard at the moment to put links. So if you're watching the video version, it's just they're down in the description as just what they are on those things. I'm hoping soon I can do there's just a thing I have to post consistently for a certain amount of time to be able to put the links on. I believe that's what I saw on the last time I tried to put all those links down below. Sadly, it didn't work. So I think I have to post consistently a little bit more to be able to put links in again. So I'm working on that for anyone that watches the video version. I'm trying to get those links down in the description. They are on the audio version, so if you were listening to the audio version on any of your favorite podcatchers, they are down there. But like I said, for anyone that does watch just the video version, I'm trying my best to be consistent again. I really fell off last year, and I kind of hated that I fell off, but life was life, and sometimes life is going to be life. But this bi-weekly schedule has been a lot more. It's made it a lot easier to get stuff in and get things going. But that is going to do it for this edition of Not Just a Guy. Folks, I have been your host, Not Just a Guy, the guy, Garrett Briones, and thank you for letting me talk at you. This has been a Bachelor Class production, hosted by Garrett Briones, edited by Emily Cunningham, music provided by Stephen Cruz. For more information, follow us at Bachelor Class.